what you call breadcrumbs, and then I think you've also called it base hits.
Yeah.
Are those just interchangeable?
Yeah, interchangeable. You know, I don't. Do you know Johnny West?
No.
Okay, he went to Alma Heights. So, anyways, he's actually the guy that introduced me to crypto too, and he introduced me to this concept of breadcrumbs in 2016, 2017, which was basically, we were talking about business at the time. And he's like, I don't need to have like this home run startup, like that, you know, a unicorn. Odds are very, very small for that, right? And those dudes get filled up off of that massive success. But there's so many people out there that get filthy rich off of cleaning up all the other breadcrumbs on the table, right? So like the slice of bread, like you have a big loaf of bread, you slice it up, you give it to the big winners out there, and then someone else comes and scoops up all those other little pieces and gets real full off of that. And that was like a mind shift for me of like, dang, like there's a lot of like money in the cleanup, not the literal cleanup business, but like in picking up the little pieces that are left around. And so migrating that from like kind of a business perspective into trading was helpful, and kind of where the base hits idea came from, which is I don't need to have like a one trade that pays for the whole month, which you see plenty of people online do. And I've had those types of moments, but it's not like, that shouldn't be the norm. That should be like, for me, like a 1% or less type of situation. Like I want to be very consistent in my variables that I can control. And I use this like bell curve analogy all the time, and it's not super great necessarily, but like a bell curve, you have like your norm, right? And I want to be in that norm all the time. Like I don't really want to be trading extremes on like one way or the other. I just want to have like this normal kind of trading that's repeatable and consistent day over day. And so the idea of base hits is basically look for like tinier trades that I know I can get in and out of and stack those.
Yeah.
Is essentially the idea.
You mentioned on the Riz podcast that everyone is always interested in the big wins or big losses. But
yeah,
your comment, which you just said, is like the reality is that 99% of what a day actually exists is these breadcrumbs and these base wins. And it also, to me at least, seems that this is a much more feasible way of actually having emotional detachment.
Yeah.
Because if you are betting $10,000, or not betting, if you're risking $10,000 on a trade, then your heart rate is going to be crazy. Your
right.
pressure is high and all of that. And so no, I think that's a very good way of introducing that. And also I imagine it takes a lot less time to get those breadcrumbs than it would.
I think so. Yeah. Cause you're instead of looking for like this holy grail sort of like setup or trade or whatever, you're just like looking for things that you see happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to see and identify those things that happen all the time, it's significantly easier to me. And that's probably someone disagrees with me somewhere, but like that to me is way more repeatable and easy to like look for. And to, again, like I want consistency that like at the end of the day. And I like to think about trading just like I would like a normal job, where it's like very easy to to have your brain like kind of make these weird like associations with trading, because you see big money all the time. Like you have a big win or whatever and you make $15,000, it's very easy for your brain to like extrapolate that out over a year and be like, well, I could be doing this. And then it's like, but you know, at like a normal job, it's like $500 a day to be making six figures. And so it's like, if I can just do that, then I can slowly add more than that, right? But if I can just get to a point where I'm not greedy and can just like repeat the process, it turns into decent money pretty quick, you know?
Yeah, and it's really crazy to not think of that. Like I remember you in many of your videos just saying, hey, like $500 a day is great.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really good.
Yeah.
You really get obsessed with that giant number. So when you're in comparison, like 500 to 10,000 doesn't mean a lot, but yeah, 500 consistently every day it's a great living.
Yeah. Well, and the other problem with like, for me at least, and you kind of touched on it, but like the big swings just become like exhausting. And like for something that ends up being a very similar outcome, like if you make $10,000 in a day, odds are you're probably going to lose $10,000 in a day at some point. Mm-hmm. And so being able to like, if at the end of the day, my, you know, the week is going to be plus $10,000 for whatever, like plus or minus for whatever. It's like, I would rather probably do it by having, you know, $2,000 a day, as opposed to like these swings of like $10,000 up one day, $8,000 down the next day, you know, whatever. Cause it's just like the emotional capital of that just like gets zapped.
Yeah, it gets, and you always start the day with a full tank, but then it gets
depleted.
Yeah.
Right. Or you hope to start the day with a full tank, right? Yeah. Sometimes you check emails before and you're like tilted before you even start the day. You're like, why did I do that?
But still we do it sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.